We now continue our big story coverage on ICE in America, and specifically whether or not our local governments are cooperating with federal immigration enforcement. It comes at a time when polls show most Americans are not happy with how ICE and other DHS agents are carrying out deportations. Last half hour, we showed you how under the new mayor, the city of Buffalo will only cooperate with the feds if they have a judicial warrant. Well, today we also caught up with Erie County Executive Mark Poloncarz to ask him about Erie County's policy.
For months now, Erie County has had a policy where we will not assist ICE unless they have a judicial warrant. The sheriff's office has agreed with that. ICE has requested information from us, but without a judicial warrant, we will not assist them. If they do have a warrant that's signed by a judge, we will assist them because that's following the rule of law. But what Sean Ryan did by signing his executive order is very similar to what Erie County has been doing for months now, which is if ICE comes forth like any other agency from the federal government with a signed judicial warrant for, say, the arrest of individual or information, we honor that because that's what you do in a democratic society.
We'll check in with some of our other local municipalities new tonight at 6. Now, as far as we can tell, as of earlier this afternoon, our two local Republican members of Congress have not yet commented specifically on that killing that happened in Minnesota this weekend, but they have generally defended federal immigration efforts. Congressman Nick Langworthy recently shared a New York Post cover and said, quote, "You're either on the side of keeping Americans safe or the criminals and cartels. It's that simple." His fellow GOP representative Claudia Tenney posted that sanctuary cities are sabotaging efforts to deport criminals and, quote, "Blue state governors and mayors who block ICE make enforcement harder and their communities less safe." She added this on Newsmax.
Criminals, they could be murderers, rapists, human traffickers, drug traffickers. They're with innocent people, and the people, these Democrats don't know what they're doing, and ICE has the information on these people. They've been tracking them for weeks and months. They know who they are, and it's just like you would not interfere with a police officer, dealing with and chasing down a bank robber.
Now, there is no question that the American people are souring on the tactics of some federal immigration authorities. There is brand new polling from YouGov, which found 57% disapprove of ICE. Only 37 approve. You can see it's a 20-point gap. And among people who have seen the videos of the killing of Alex Preddy in Minneapolis from this weekend, 63% said the shooting was not justified. 25% said it was justified. Let's talk about how these issues are affecting the race for New York governor with our 7 News political analyst Bob McCarthy, who joins us live here tonight. Bob, always great to have you here.
Yes, Michael.
So I want to start here with the debate over federal immigration efforts. And we are seeing very different messages from the two front-running candidates for governor, right? Kathy Hochul doing what most Democrats are doing and calling even for the resignation of top officials in the federal government. Meanwhile, her Republican opponent, Bruce Blakeman, sort of doing the opposite. Let's listen to both of them.
It's a shame I have to say this in America, but no one is above the law. No one. Not an ICE agent, not a federal officer, not the President of the United States. And make no mistake, when these people who have abused the power entrusted to them by their offices are finally out of power, states, including New York, will hold them accountable.
We have the most comprehensive agreement with ICE in the United States. I've dedicated 50 jail cells to ICE, and I've dedicated 10 detectives from our Nassau County Police Department to ICE. And we're doing it because we want to make our communities safer, and we've done that.
So I think back when Bruce Blakeman had a primary opponent, perhaps in this state among Republican voters, that may have been a more popular message. Does he risk now sort of sounding like he's too cozy with what a lot of Americans, a lot of New Yorkers aren't too happy with?
Well, Michael, you and I have both been following these polls, and we've seen these numbers, like 60% of people think that the ICE tactics are too severe. He could try to run on that platform, but I would think it would be very risky because I think those numbers are even more against ICE in New York State. And so, we saw Lee Zeldin run very successfully on a crime platform 4 years ago, but this is different. And if he wants to run on that, he can try it. But like I said, that's a risky one.
It's interesting because you sent us a message earlier today. We just, of course, wrapped up, a winter storm for Western New York, but across a big chunk of New York, this was a major winter storm, right? New York City getting almost a foot of snow. It's going to take a long time to get things back. That has become a political issue in this race now as well. Blakeman really attacking Hochul on it.
Right. I have written about what I call the politics of snow for many years. You can go back to 1977 on this. I don't go back that far, even though I'm an old dog these days. But Mayor Stan Mikowski felt that he could not run again because of the criticism that he and his administration received in that monster storm in 1977. And we've seen Governor Hochul criticized for her response to the Christmas blizzard of 2022. And now Bruce Blakeman is jumping in on this already, saying that criticizing her for not accepting an offer of federal assistance.
From Homeland Security.
From Homeland Security. And the governor had her own reasons for that by saying, I don't want to expose anybody to any kind of those resources on the federal level. So there's no question that in New York State, the politics of snow is very important politics, and it will become, I think, a topic in the next few days and over the next, several months in this thing. Are we always ready? Can we do better? The governor was severely criticized the last time, but she thinks that they've done better as far as marshaling resources and getting equipment ready and things like that. So I don't know exactly what the marks are on her response and the state's response, but things seem to be working at this point anyway. So
yeah, when you're an incumbent, that's the risk you take, right? If you mess up a storm, it can come back to haunt.
Absolutely.
There's no question.
Especially New York State.
Yeah, that's right. Finally, I want to ask you about the special election that is now underway here in Western New York, replacing Sean Ryan in the state Senate. We'll show people a map here. It's the 61st state Senate district. So we're talking about parts of the city of Buffalo, city of Tonawanda, town of Tonawanda, Amherst, Grand Island, and the villages of Kenmore and Williamsville. Early voting started on Saturday, continued yesterday, continues today. Not a lot of people are voting.
The weather that we are going to see throughout the entire early voting period, Michael, is not going to help that situation at all. We're probably talking 10 to 12% turnout anyway. And so, and especially if this goes to February 3rd on Election Day, we're just going to see even more abysmal numbers. And it's a heavily Democratic district to begin with. We're going to see a lot of money spent on TV and ads and in direct mail and things like that, but there's not going to be a lot of response, and the weather is not going to help.
Jeremy Zellner and Dan Gagliardo, the two candidates there. 8 days until the election, though you can vote now if you live in that district. Bob, great to see you. Thanks so much.
Michael.
Appreciate you.